Good morning, everybody. We'll be broadcasting from below 60, minus 60-degree weather here outside. So if we break up, that's what's happening. So hopefully you guys are a lot warmer than we are here in Minnesota, and it's supposed to warm up nicely here in the next few days. But not it's going to be horrible for the next couple of days. So hopefully you're not getting bit by that as well. So welcome back to work. A lot of you have taken the last couple of days or couple of weeks off, and welcome back to work, beginning of the 2014 year. We'll make it a good one for you. So got a lot of things to cover today. If you have questions, concerns, make sure you just type in the questions and we'll be sure to address them. Otherwise, we'll be off to the races here. I think. Let me check here. There we go. So holy cow. So those of you that remember the 6 questions that I asked you all about 3 or 4 months ago, which is, do you think we'll have another major terrorist attack in the next 5 years? Do you think there could eventually be a problem with China, either internally or with some other country? Do you think that someone in or some country could hack into important U.S. computers in the future? Do you think that big banks and Wall Street are capable of making another big mistake? Do you think that the government is getting more or less dysfunctional? And do you think that the government will keep going into debt? So we answered those questions, and now, as many of you are aware, we've integrated those into the 2014 Outside the Box workshop. And that video should be up in the next day or so. For those of you that are going to be doing events, I think it's far superior to what we've had at this point. I mean, it's really sweet and on how it works with the attendees. So I want to talk to you, though, about these things. Have we experienced any of these things? Remember, I brought this up to your attention, I think, October. Have any of these things that we talked about here begun to happen? Or have we seen cracks in where these things are starting to work their way into? So if we look at it, we talked about way back when about the 60 Minutes TV show where they were talking about all the ghost cities out there. So China now has 138 fully built cities with nobody living in them. And as you recall, the reason they are doing this is because the Chinese people refuse to invest in their stock market. They only want to invest in real estate, so they keep building real estate, real estate, real estate. And guess who's funding the real estate boom? Do you think it's private industry or the government, guys? Private industry or the government? It's the government funding all these because they want to keep their people happy. But here's the thing. What would, if they've got 138 cities, a new one going on, a new one going up, I mean, as we speak, so they just keep building these buildings with nobody living in them, what do you think is eventually going to happen? What do you think is eventually, if you were the only person living in a house in your neighborhood, what would happen to the value of your neighborhood? If not today, tomorrow. It's going to crash, exactly. So now here's what we're starting to see. This is just last week's headlines. China pushes to rein in risky lending. China's financial system is in danger of becoming too big to bail out. Bank lending has doubled in the past 5 years, and the bigger problem is that's not even including, so bank lending has doubled in the last 5 years. That's not even including the bigger problem, which is shadow banking. And this is where companies and people with government connections get low-interest loans from state-controlled banks, and then they re-lend it at much higher interest rates to risky private ventures. So do you see any problems with that, guys? No problems there whatsoever, right? So bank lending has doubled in the last 5 years, and then you've got the shadow banking, which dwarfs the bank lending. So all of these things are happening underneath. What's happening to they've had to shut down their airports? Why? Did you know that now everybody flying into, I think 5 different major Chinese airports have to have an instrument weight rating? Why? Every pilot every airplane flying into these 5 major Chinese airports have to have an instrument rating. Why? SNOG, exactly, Andy. SNOG. You can't even see where you're going. So how long before the population starts to bail and have problems with this? So I mean, we're starting to see the cracks in this already. And then here's how they announced that they're going to fix this banking problem. It's hilarious. They just announced that regional and bureaucratic protectionism would be curtailed. And just announcing that, the banking system immediately reeled, and guess what the government did in one day? Backed off. They said, okay, we won't change anything. Now here's the hilarious thing. This is the Chinese-style Fed Reserve. So we might have bones to pick with our Fed Reserve. We might have complaints with our Fed Reserve. We might think our Fed Reserve needs to be fixed. But when I said just announced that the regional bureaucratic protectionism will be curtailed, anybody want to guess on how they announced it to the country? Anybody have a wild guess on how they announced it to the country? They tweeted it. So here's how the Chinese announced that the regional bureaucratic protectionism needs to be curtailed. They tweeted, banks must make rational adjustments to structure of assets and liabilities. That statement right there, tweeted out, basically collapsed their banking system within hours, and they backed off of it immediately. So do you think that that's an indication that they might have problems or they don't have problems? So the things that we're talking about there, and the things we're talking about right here, are these, we all agree these things were not maybe going to happen, but a lot of these we said were absolutely going to happen. 100% of us said these things are going to happen, and we're seeing that. And then what's happened right in the last few weeks to Skype, to Target, to Snapchat? And guys, if you think if people can break, if third world hackers can back into Skype, Target, and Snapchat, do you really think there's not a chance it's an entity such as China or other places, Russia, or some of those countries, can't figure out how to get into our power grid computers, military computers, Federal Reserve computers, banking computers? Now, they're not doing anything now. Why? Because it would be a mutual self-destruction. Because if they do anything to us, then what would happen to the world? But if push comes to shove, how much damage could they do? So am I talking with those 6 likely losers that they're not likely to happen, that they can happen? No, we all agree that there's a high likelihood it could happen. We're seeing it every single day. So when you do the event, when you talk about those 6 likely losers, they don't have to go very far in the news to figure out, you know what? You're absolutely right when you're bringing those things up. And how many other advisors are talking about those things, guys? How many other advisors are talking about those 6 likely losers and what they could do to a retirement plan? Right, Eric? None. And what if you're the smartest investor in the world? What if you get the best money management in the world? What will happen if any one of those things happen, guys? If you got the best investments in the world and one of those things happen, what will happen to your investments? Devastation, exactly, Eric. I mean, there's nothing you can do because all the investments will get crushed. So I just wanted to bring that up. So our new Outside the Box, 2014 Outside the Box, leverages those questions, and we're seeing in the news every single day. And what better thing, guys, to be presenting in your events than something that's topical that they're seeing in the news every single night. It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, so a different subject, elevator speech. So I was just working with Paul, one of our members here. We've come up with an excellent elevator speech for you to use when people ask what you do. And where you find that is if we go to our site here, and hopefully everybody can see our site, what you're going to do is you go to Getting Started, and then if you go down to elevator speech, so this is brand new. So if you've seen it before, you need to go back again because this is brand new. So elevator speech, explain what you do. If I bring it up here, move it over to this side. So here's what it is. So if somebody asks you what you do, you say, well, here's what I do. I help people go through a 21-point checklist for their financial and legal matters to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And I'll give you an example. I mean, a doctor or physician. Now, this was written for Paul because he was talking to physicians, but you don't have to. You can modify this for whoever you're talking to. But you say, for example, let's say that a doctor or a patient goes in to get surgery. So the doctor does a fantastic job on surgery, and the surgery is successful. But then somebody in housekeeping doesn't wash their hands, or somebody in food service doesn't wash their hands, or some nurse doesn't wash their hands. And the client ends up getting an infection like MRSA, if you've heard of MRSA. So the surgery that went very, very well, went fantastic, it goes to pot. Because the surgery was the big thing, right? The surgery was the big thing. But is it the big things or the little things that get us? I'm going to take a step back. Jeannie says that nobody likes a doomsayer, but it's true. But here's the thing, guys. For those of, I'm going to step, so I'm out of back onto the elevator speech here, and we're back to the, if I can get it here. She's talking about the, just a second, guys. I want to address this because it's important. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. Doomsayers. So, do we want to be a doomsayer? No. But those of you that saw me present the new Outside the Box 2014, who says these things are likely to happen, guys? For those of you that saw me do the 2014 Outside the Box, who said these things were going to happen? That's right, Eric. The prospects. They take this quiz at the event, and I say, what's the likelihood this is going to happen? They tell me. What's the likelihood this is going to happen? They tell me. What's the likelihood this is going to happen? They tell me. They tell me all these things. I don't say any of these things are going to happen. They tell me. So then, therefore, who is the doomsayer? So you're right, Andy. The audience is. They are, Bruce. So I'm not a doomsayer. See, the whole new Outside the Box 2014, they tell me everything. They tell me everything. I don't say anything bad is going to happen. They tell me all the bad things are going to happen. When they say it, it's what? When the client says it, the prospect says it, the attendees at the event says it, what? It's true. That's exactly right. It's true. So we're not doomsaying here because they're telling us. So I understand what you're saying, Jeannie, but we have to understand that it's the way you deliver information that makes the difference. The exact same information, guys, can be delivered two different ways, and it's a totally different message. So the message that we're giving here is that they're telling us that these things are going to happen. All we're helping them do is connect the dots that, well, if you're telling me these things are going to happen, for every action, there's a reaction. What would the reaction be? Your investments are going to get screwed. Is anybody going to argue with me that if China gets into a war with Japan, or China's economy collapses, or banking system collapses, that their investments around the world are not going to crush? Will anybody argue that? Casey says, Doomsayer, this is reality, and all the things that have a huge chance of happening. Well, and I agree, and I think that's what Jeannie was saying too, Casey, so I agree with both of you that this is reality. But again, if we try to shove reality down their throat, so you're both right, but if we try to shove reality down the throat, it's going to be looked at as doomsaying. But if they tell us it's a reality, then it's fine and dandy. Does that make sense to everybody? So thanks for bringing that up, Jeannie and Casey. So now I'm going to get back to here. So back to the new elevator speech. So you can say, so the surgery was the big thing, right? But is it the big things in life that get us, or the small things in life that get us? It's the small things. See, and that's what I found. So actually, I make a living now going through people's finances, their legal matters, government programs, and where they've already got good advisors who are helping them with their investments. They've got attorneys helping them with their legal matters. They've got accountants helping them with their taxes. They've got insurance people helping with their insurance. They've got great advisors. All I do is go through and help them dot all the I's and cross all the T's. Find out the things they missed on either the legal matters or their government programs, maybe that they're missing or not filing for properly, like Social Security or Veterans Administrations or with the IRS. And I look at their legal matters, things that the attorneys may have forgotten. I mean, can I give you an example of that? What are the people going to say at that point? Sure. Well, for example, one of the things we looked at is a power of attorney. And I'm sure, as successful as you are, you have a power of attorney. And they're going to say, yeah, again, based on the person you're talking to. Well, here's the thing. We found powers of attorney that we come across are completely legal. But I've looked at everyone that we've come across are completely legal, but I've looked at hundreds. In the consortium of advisors I've worked with, 150 other advisors across the country, we've looked at thousands of powers of attorney. And we found out that they're all perfectly legal, but they're missing some things. Let me give you an example. Social Security Administration, Veterans Administration, the IRS, they will not honor your power of attorney unless it has specific language pertaining to those things. And here's the thing. Knowing what you know about our government, what's the likelihood that you think the language of the Social Security Administration, the IRS, and the Veterans Administration is all going to have the same types of language? And what do you think everybody's going to say to that? Well, not likely. Exactly. None of them do. And you know how many powers of attorney out of thousands we've looked at have had the language that allow those three entities to use your power of attorney? Want to take a wild guess? 0. 0. Not even 1%. That means that if you need your spouse to help you with Social Security, something to do with Social Security, your Social Security check, changing an account, whatever, with the Veterans Administration or with the IRS, guess what? Your power of attorney will not work. Now, take it one step further. We found that the completely legal powers of attorney, many banks and brokerages are even going to turn down your power of attorney. Now, let me ask you a question. What's the advantage for a bank or brokerage to turn down your power of attorney? Do people use their powers of attorney to deposit money into accounts or take money out? Well, to take money out. Yeah, to take money out. So why would a bank or brokerage not want people to take money out? Well, because they want to keep control of our money. Yeah, because when they control your money, they make more what? Well, they make more money. Yeah, they make more money. So that's one thing. But also, they not only do they not have a financial reason to honor it, but they also have a legal reason not to honor it. Because it's not only is it negative to them financially because they'll lose money, but the second thing is if they honor your power of attorney and they find out later that it wasn't the most current power of attorney or it wasn't the right power of attorney, guess where they're going to end up? Because if the family finds out they honored a power of attorney that they weren't supposed to honor and people are pulling that money out, guess what's going to happen to them? Well, they're going to get sued. Yeah, they're going to end up in court. Let me get through the next one. So not only do they have a negative financial reason to not to honor it, but they also have a problem if they honor because because they'll actually lose money when people are pulling money out of the account. But they also are worried that if they may get sued if they honor that power of attorney. So they have no reason to honor the power of attorney, and that's why we find so many banks and brokerages are now turning up their noses at completely legal powers of attorney. Now, if they do that, and you take them to court, you go on their docket. So how long does it take to get on their docket? I don't know. It might take, what, 2, 3, 4 months. So now what are you doing during those 2, 3, 4 months? And who do you have to hire to represent you? And he does that for free, right? No, it costs money. It costs time. It costs hassle. It costs stress. Now, the court's finally going to say, you need to honor this power of attorney. And guess what the bank or brokerage is going to say? Well, I guess they'd have to then, right? Yeah, they'd have to. They'd say, okay, I'll honor it. So what's their punishment? Well, I don't know. Are they punished? No, they're not. They're not punished. So do you get why that they have every reason, banks and brokers have every reason to skirt around a perfectly legal power of attorney? Because they get to keep the money for another 2 or 3 or 4 months and they don't have to worry about being sued. So why wouldn't they do that? Oh, I can see that. So that's just one thing out of the 21 things that I look at. I find ways that, the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I find ways to put more more money into people's pockets, help them avoid getting their family into all sorts of hassles and problems like we're talking about right here. I do that with a 21-point checklist. This example I just gave you is just one of the things that I look at with a 21-point checklist. And guess what the people are going to say at that point? Well, and how do you get this 21-point checklist? So this is something, guys, that you should memorize. So when somebody asks you what you do, boom, you're right into what you do. It pulls them right into the 21-point checklist conversation. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand that you should memorize that? Can I get some yeses? Because I'm getting to where we need to be. Okay, I got a yes from Casey. He's the only one saying yes. Okay, so Frank, thanks, guys. Okay. Do you see how that would work? So, so the next thing we're going to get into is how do you get things done, guys? On a Saturday, how do you make sure that you make the most of your Saturday? Or when you come into work on Monday, how do you make sure you get the most done today. You always have a checklist. That's how people get things done. A list, right, Eric? A checklist. So, the quick and dirty dozen of for marketing. Here's the checklist you should have for marketing. Number 1, have you defined your target market? The more specific you can get, the better off you're going to be. Number 2, have you created a kick butt 5Q? Do you need to now, guys? Do you need to create a kick butt 5Q? Or an 5Q, I'm sorry, is an elevator speech. Well, let me ask you a question, Paul and Eric. Didn't I just give that to you? So you guys don't need to create an elevator speech. This one is the one that you should use. Why should you use the one I just gave you? No, you're right, Eric. You don't need one. The one I just gave you is the one you want to use. Why do you want to use the one I just gave you guys? It's story powerful. It's fairly ironclad. It gets them into how we do that. Yes, Bruce. It gets them to look at how we do that. So what it does is it's a perfect lead-in to the 21-point checklist. It's the perfect lead-in to gathering all their data. So they don't say, well, why do you need to do that? And why do you need my power of attorney? And why do you need my will? Why do you need my statements? It's a perfect lead-in to what we actually do, what is going to get them to move all their money to us. And you're right, Andy. We give them a bit of info, and it seems like we actually gave them useful information, but will any of them be able to use the information I gave them? See, in today's world, are people skeptical? Yes, more so than ever before. So the way you get over the skepticism, saying, hey, hey, you know what? I'm smart. I can do things that nobody else can do. Hey, I've got ideas nobody else knows. I actually gave them a specific concrete example, or 2 concrete examples, both dealing with the power of attorney. One is how the banks and brokerages react to power of attorney, and number 2 is how government agencies react to a power of attorney. I give them 2 concrete examples of what I do. But you're right, Jeannie, they can't use, it seems like I gave them free information, but I didn't give them any ways to fix those things, did I? But it gives me what, guys? When I actually give them 2, I don't say, well, I do things that nobody else does. I help you do things that no, I actually gave them 2 concrete examples. It leads them to believe that I know what I'm doing because I gave them concrete examples. Does that make sense? So this one you don't have to do. We just gave it to you. Yeah, there's a reason for them to get to us with us, right, Andy? So this one has been created for you. Have you defined an ideal client? Number 4, do you have a goal for how many new clients you plan to bring on this year? Now, here, this one, I mean, this is an old list. I just read a book by the author of Dilbert. I just read a book by the author of Dilbert. And here's what he said. He says he thinks goals are garbage. He said goals are garbage. So why do you think he said goals are garbage, guys? Why do you think this book is fantastic, but I love what he said about goals. He said at the beginning of the year, never, ever, ever bother setting a goal. Why? Here's the example he gives. It sets you up for failure, Bruce. It sets you up for failure. People write them down and forget about them, Frank. Exactly. So here's the example he gives. If I say I'm going to lose 30 pounds this year, what's going to happen within the next 2 weeks? I've already failed, as Bruce was pointing out. I set myself up for failure. I'm gonna go off the wagon. I'm gonna eat what I shouldn't be eating, or I'm gonna cheat on my diet, or I'm gonna skip a time going to the gym. Goals are set you up for failure. And then how do you feel about yourself? Crash and burn. Exactly right, Jeannie. So the thing is, think about setting a goal. I'm gonna write $15 million in production this year. And then 3 months go by and you're at 1 million. And what are you starting to think? What do you do? If you write down your goal of writing 15 million this year, and then by the end of March you're at 1 million, what do you do with your goal, guys? You toss it. You give up. You say, I'll just start next January. So here's what the author Dilbert said. He said, don't set goals. Goals set you up for failure. It makes you feel bad about yourself. Goals are worthless. Instead, set up a system. For example, if I want to lose weight, I shouldn't set a goal of losing weight. I should set up a system. For example, when I go to the grocery store, I only buy healthy food. So I'll have no bad snack food in my house. I will walk, instead of having my kid walk the dog, I will walk the dog every morning. So what am I doing, guys, now? When I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to shop and only put healthy food in my cupboards. So when I get hungry at 9 o'clock at night, the only thing I have to do is what? I can only eat healthy food. I'm going to walk the dog every morning. So I'm setting up a system. Where in there did I say I was going to lose weight? That, Kevin, exactly. Setting up a system, Kevin. Because in there, did I say that when I said I'm going to only put healthy food, buy healthy food for my home? And actually, guys, that's a fantastic system. There are lots of guys that have lost immense amounts of money by not going on a diet at all, just only buying healthy food at home, because when they get hungry, they go to the cupboard, and guess what's not there? Crappy food. And if they want crappy food, they can get in the car and drive to get it, but by that point you think, what? Forget it. So you're right, Kevin. I'm setting up a system. I didn't talk about losing weight when I said I'm going to only buy healthy food and put it in the cupboard. I didn't say I'm going to lose weight when I said I'm going to walk my dog every morning. It had nothing to do with setting a goal of losing weight. Instead, I've set up a system that by following that system, I will lose weight. So when it comes to marketing, if you have a goal of how many clients you want to bring on next year, that goal is worthless unless you do what? Set up a system to do that. Set up a system to do that. So many of you have already set up or had in the last, because we've invited you 3 times now to set up a time to talk to me, to set up your marketing plan or your quick start plan to get you started and making money as soon as possible. So I think I've worked with about 20 of you, 25 of you now, which leaves an awful lot of you that did not take me up on that offer. So guess what I would highly recommend that all of you do. If you have not yet set up your quick start with me, and this is for people who have been on for 2 weeks and people who have been on for 2 years, if you have not set up your quick start for 2014 with me, call up Tricia and get that set up so we can start working through that. Okay, and I will work with you, excuse me, for an hour and a half. We set that up, and then I'll follow up with you every couple of weeks as we get that thing going and get you right in business. So please get a system set up. Do you have a documented communication model for prospects, for clients, which means how do you communicate to your prospects and clients? Are you using the epidemic marketing that we have on the site? I mean, we have all the tools you need to be communicating with your clients on a regular basis right here in the epidemic marketing. So I'll click that. So we have all these epidemic pieces, all these drip pieces that you can send out every single month to your clients. There's an email newsletter you can send out to your clients. Then there's a regular newsletter. These 2 newsletters are different. So this one is different from the paper one. So you have 1 chance to communicate with clients, 2 chances to communicate with clients. And then we have the personalization kit, the little gift that you can give them. Then we have the drip that you can send to CPAs and attorneys. The letter of the editor you can send to your local paper, and a small business pot of gold. And then we also have the walk down memory lane, which is the 3rd way you can communicate with your clients and prospects. So how many of you are doing this? We've given you the tools to actually communicate on a regular basis with your prospects and clients. And guys, what's the #1 reason people leave their current advisor? What's the #1 reason by far that people leave their current advisor? No contact, Bruce. You're right. Lack of communication, Kevin. Guess where lack of return is? It's down at number 9 and 10. But lack of communication is quoted by, I think it's close to over 80% of the people will say the reason I left my guy is he never communicated with me, or the only reason he communicated with me was about money, or the only time he communicated with me is when I called him up. It's lack of communication. So here's the thing. You need to be communicating with the clients, but also you need to be communicating with the prospects. So if lack of communication is the #1 reason people leave their current advisor, why would you want to communicate with prospects then, guys? If lack of communication is the #1 reason people leave their current advisor, why would you want to communicate with prospects? Yes, exactly, Kevin. Make them, yeah, you're all getting it. Make them see that we're different. Let them see that we do what they want way better than what their current guy does. I mean, if we're communicating with them 3 times a month, if we send them out a walk down memory lane bulletin, we send them out, contact them via email, we give them a monthly newsletter, they see our letter to the editor in the paper, we're communicating with them way more than their current advisor is. So when their advisor makes a mistake, when he forgets to return a phone call, or when he's flippant with an answer, or whether maybe his assistant is having a bad day and is grumpy to the client, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call you. So please, 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 make sure you have that epidemic marketing going out every single month. Do you know the lifetime value of a client? So do you know what a client's worth? And here's an interesting piece of information. I just read this article. And I should have put this in here, but you'll get this when you set up your quick start with me. We'll actually send this article to you because it's very important. So they went through, Cerulean Associates went through, and they asked advisors how, but the financial advisors believe that they have all their clients' accounts. So when they asked financial advisors how many of their clients do they have that they don't have all their money, guess what percentage that advisors said? 5%? You guys are pretty good. Actually, yeah, it's closer to what Kevin said. So when they asked advisors how many of their clients are hiding accounts from them, they said 17% are hiding accounts from them. Guess what the actual number was? It's much closer to your number. In fact, you're almost right on target, Kevin. Kevin said 75%. It was 74%. So 74% advisors think only 17% of their clients are hiding accounts from them. In actuality, when Cerulean went back and asked the actual clients, 74% of them were hiding money from them. So why do you think they're hiding money from them? Well, here, lots of reasons. But the main reason is they don't fully trust you. Guess how you capture that money, guys? Guess how you capture 100% of your clients' money? And we've seen this over the last 15 years. Good job, Eric! The 21-point checklist. You should have gone through, you need to go through the 21-point checklist with all of your clients. Because when you do the 21-point checklist, you're like, holy cow, I thought all Mike wanted was my money. I thought all Mike wanted to do was handle my investments. But that's not what he's doing. He is actually being caring individual. He's helping us with all these other things he doesn't even get paid to do. And all of a sudden, money starts falling out of trees. That's how you get all of their money. So if you have not yet gone back to all of your clients to get them through the 21-point checklist, that's the first thing you need to do. You shake that tree by going back to them. First of all, you should be doing that anyways because you're going to be embarrassed if they ever find out that you're doing it for new people and not for them. But second of all, you're going to find all the money they never told you about. It's a very profitable endeavor to go back to your current clients and take them through the 21-point checklist. 7, have you segmented your clients into appropriate potential categories? So guys, you need to go through and have at least A clients and B clients because you want to be investing the most time with the clients that are going to provide you the best referrals, the most ongoing income, etc. So do you have a communication model for each? Do you have a documented referral process in place? So how are you getting referrals? How are you getting your clients to refer to you? Well, the first thing you need to do is do the 21-point checklist for your clients. It becomes very easy for them to talk about how you're different compared to all the other advisors out there if you do that for them. So what is your referral process? Do you have letters, phone calls? Do you have gifts in place for referrals? I mean, one of the things that we have available to you is the friends referring friends system in which you can give you give out movie tickets, 2 pairs of movie tickets, a pair of movie tickets to the referring couple and a pair of movie tickets to the couple that was referred. So we have a system for that if you don't have one of your own. So you can contact us and we'll get that to you. Do you have a documented networking process in place? So do you know who the influentials are in your church, in your town, in your Rotary organization? And what are you doing to nurture that relationship? How do you communicate to them? What groups? So I mean, with this, how many of you have started the Golden Referral Program? Which is the only way I've ever seen, the only system I've ever seen that actually will get attorneys to refer to you. And you have that available to you for free. So how many of you have started that? You need to have a system in place for 2014 to get the kind of results you want in 2014. Are you doing client advisory boards? Bruce wants to know where the Golden Referral Program is, so let me go here. Let's see here. The 5 QES systems. 5 QES systems. There's the Golden Referral System. So everything you need in there and how to get the whole Golden Referral. And for those of you that forgotten how that works, what it is, it's a case study program that you do with attorneys and CPAs. So you invite 5 or 6 attorneys, and you invite 5 or 6 CPAs to be part of a case study group that meets once a month. And this walks you through exactly how to do that. Now, the guys that have done this have had no problem getting attorneys to. Attorneys are easier for some reason than accountants, but they've had no, which is really fine with us, right? Because attorneys can refer fantastic people. So I've had no problem with guys getting 5 or 6 attorneys to be part of a case study group. And at this point, advisor after advisor will say, well, wait a minute. How are you going to get 5 or 6 attorneys to be part of a case study group all at the same time? Guys, do you think there's that attorneys have any problems getting together with a case study group, even if they're quote-unquote competitive attorneys? If you go to lunch at any place in town during a business day, they're gonna you look around at you look around that restaurant, and there's going to be a lot of attorneys from different firms all working with each other, or all eating lunch with each other. Attorneys do not look or view their business the way that we do. They're very collegial. They refer clients back and forth all the time, even to their competitors. They're not like us. They have lunch, they call, they golf together. It's rare that you'll find advisors that are competitors with each other doing that, but they do it all the time. And here's the thing. What do attorneys like to do, guys? What do attorneys like? How about, what do attorneys love to do? Yep, charge money. Close. Talk, yeah. Argue. Seriously get together. Yeah, I mean, you're all right, but they love to, yeah, there they are. Casey got it. Show how smart they are. Give advice, RC. So you're all right, but they love to show how smart they are. So these case study groups are a way for them to show their colleagues how smart they are. So they have no problem getting together the Golden Referral System. So it walks you through exactly how to do that. We even give you the first case study to review with them. Now, this is not something that's going to make you money in the first 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. But this, I mean, I took this system and systematized it from a guy who actually was forced into retirement from an industry not even with nothing to do with the financial industry. And within 5 years, he was making $1 million a year only from referrals from attorneys. So he was doing case study groups. All I did was, and I just read that from an article, and I systematized it. So I put it together for you. So I put together exactly what you say to the letters that you send to the attorneys. I put together exactly what you say. We put together the first case study groups. I mean, it's all right there for you. I've systematized it for you. But just so you know, doing the case study groups is not what gets them to refer to you. Guess what gets the case study groups is not what gets them to refer to you. It takes That's why it takes 5, 6, 7 months for this to work. The case study groups gives you a reason to get to know them better. So in between the case study groups, you're going to find the 1 or 2 attorneys that you seem to be gelling with, and you'll invite them to lunch. And then you're going to see if they play golf or tennis, and you can start to do that. And then you're going to see if his wife and him and your wife and you can go out to dinner together. Because here's the thing, the case study group is just going to show how smart you are. If they think you're smart, will they refer to you guys? So let me ask you, this is the same, this is what you got to get through your head. We spend all day long trying to be smart, and being smart does not make you money. It's essential, but it's not what makes you money. If the attorney thinks you're smart, will they refer to you guys? No, Casey says, you're right, Casey. Why won't they refer to you? Because if you're smart, does that prevent you from screwing their clients? What's the only thing that's going to prevent them from screwing their clients, guys? If your wife and you are friends with him and his wife, what will your wife do to you if she finds out that you've screwed a client of his? If you run in the same, you golf with the same foursome every Thursday, and you screw his client, what's that going to do to your relationship with all those other people in that foursome? See, if you run, yeah, that's right, he's going to tell everybody, so your wife's going to be angry at you, your friends are going to be angry at you. See, so what they look for is, yes, you have to be smart, but they assume everybody in this industry is smart about what we do. But the only way they know they can trust you is if by screwing them, you'll ruin your life. So if you're best friends with them and you screw them, that will ruin your life. So the whole golden referral system is not about the case studies and showing how smart you are. Yeah, it's essential to it, but just doing that will not make you the money. Becoming friends with the attorney, that's what makes you the money. That's when they start referring to you. Does that make sense? So we got a little off track there, but I want you to have all the tools necessary for you to be successful this year. So do you have a documented networking process in place? Also, if you belong to your church and you're active there, or Rotary, or any other type of group, what should you be using? What should you be a master at if you belong to those groups, guys? What should you be a master at if you belong to those groups? The elevator speech, Eric. Exactly. The elevator speech I just went through with you. So they ask you what you do, you get them to say, wow, how do you get involved with that 21-point checklist? So you're exactly right. Thanks, Eric. Okay, number 10. Do you have your marketing calendar set up for the next 12 months in advance? Every December, I already had my next year's calendar already set up. I know exactly how many. I was going to do 2 events in January, 2 events in February, 1 event in March. I'd skip April because of tax season and do 1 in May. And then I'd take 3 months off, and I'd do 2 in September, 2 in October. I had that set up. We knew where we were doing them. We had that all set up. And, in fact, usually I had to cancel my May because I had so much rollover from the other events. But you have to have your stuff set up for 12 months. If all you do is say, oh, my gosh, I don't have anything going on right now, I better do something. Guys, is that how successful businesses run their business? They wait till they have no money coming in, and then they say, oh, I guess we should figure out how to sell some more stuff? Is that how IBM does it, or 3M does it, or Microsoft does it? They're planning how far in advance. But how are you planning your business? Do you know what you're going to be doing in March? You should. Do you know what you're going to be doing in April? You should. Because if all you do is wait till you're out of money and then you do marketing, that's a crazy way to run your practice, guys. When are you going to do your events? When are you going to do your lunch and learns? When are you going to do your client mailings? I mean, all that stuff. You have to have that set up 12 months in advance. Is your internet marketing current and complete? Do you have a website, blog, landing page, email, social media, LinkedIn? I hope like I gave my giveaway. I say, all this stuff is crap. And I find guys spend hours and hours and hours on doing this crap. Why? Because first of all, there's proof upon empirical proof that this does not work for our industry. People are not going to move their money to you because of any of these things. These things are not going to make you a cent. So why do advisors spend tons of time doing this crap? 2 reasons. I want you guys to actually say the reasons. Bruce, wrong. Because some people have made money with it. Nobody has made money with this crap. Nobody's made money with this crap. Nobody. I'll take that back. One person has made money with it. Guess how he's made money? By selling it to poor schmucks that buy into it. He didn't make money with it. He didn't make money with it. He sells his crap to poor advisors who buy into it, and then he makes money off of those advisors. So, Eric, you're right. It makes them feel good. And makes them feel productive, and it costs what? It's busy work, Paul, right? And it costs nothing to do. So you go home, you're all right. It makes you feel good, it makes you feel like you're moving forward, it doesn't cost any money. So you spend weeks and weeks and weeks. I've seen guys spend months on this. And I've talked to guy after guy after guy. You get what you pay for, man, exactly right. Who has told me, yeah, I did this, I tried it, I really emphasized it, and none of them made money. The only guy I know has made money is one guy, and he basically has a fantastic internet marketing. And then what happens, guys? So when you do internet marketing, who responds to internet marketing, guys? Where are they from? When you do internet marketing, where are the people who respond from? Well, do-it-yourselfers, absolutely, Frank. Do-it-yourselfers, that's for one thing. Engineers, no, but no. Let me ask you though. Geographically, where are they from? Not near me, Eric. Exactly. All over the place. So the only guy I've ever seen make marketing or make money with internet marketing is a guy who did it, and then what he did is he gave the leads out to advisors across the country and demanded that they give him half the ticket. But you doing it, how are you going to do it? So when somebody responds to your internet marketing and you live in California and they live in New York, how are you going to get them to do business with you? You're not. So quit. Now you do need to have a website. So you see, I tried to make this X so it was everything other than website. You do need to have a website. But will websites make you money, guys? No. Websites do not make you money, but what they do is give you credibility. So you do have a website, but it's not going to make you money. It just gives you credibility. Credibility. But all this other crud, don't bother doing it. Writing books, email, social media, LinkedIn, they do not make you money. Face-to-face makes you money. And last, is your branding current and complete? Do you have a brochure, white papers, one-page firm summary and bio, one-page service and product sheets? So that when people want to know who you are, and again, the website can take care of all that. You don't even need all these things if you have a decent website. So, but will any of these things, why do you think this is number 12, guys? Why do you think branding is number 12 out of this checklist? What? It's the least important, Casey. It's the least important. It's very expensive, Bruce, you're right, and it's a time waster, Bruce. You're exactly right. So it's the least important. It takes millions of dollars to create a brand. And brands do not, people are not looking for a brand. They want to make sure you're credible, but they're looking for somebody who understands the problems they have and is going to solve those problems, and that has nothing to do with a brand. Does that make sense, everybody? So hopefully you got some things out of this call, but the biggest thing I want you to get out of this call is if you have not set up a time to do a quick start with me, and I don't care if you've been with me for 2 years or 2 weeks, call up Tricia and get that scheduled so we can start walking you through that, okay? So that's if you're serious about making money this year. You need to have a meeting with me so we can figure out what's the best way for you to utilize the system to get you making money right away. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're off to 2014. Remember, we are here to help you succeed. Utilize us. You've got ECA. who are fantastic to help you solve your product question problems. Also, ECA is there to help you. That guys, we should be understand that we move all of the client's money. Never assume when you're looking at a client's money that the money cannot be moved due to suitability, that it cannot be moved for any other reason. Call them before you decide that the money can't be moved, because they are very successful at helping guys write bigger and bigger tickets. Give Kyle a call. Give Jeff Van Grinsven a call. Never assume that money can't be moved until you've talked to those guys. You've got Jeff, who's here to help you walk through your 21-point checklist proposals for you with your so you're prepared to meet with clients. You got me, who's willing to help you on a weekly or on a bi-weekly basis, personally, one-on-one, help make sure you're doing what you need to, marketing-wise, to get in front of the people and make money initially. You got all these people here to help you. Utilize them. I mean, that's the advantage you have when we're working with a group that's small, with only 150 advisors on. You get one-on-one with some of the top guys in this industry at what they do. Okay? So I'm excited about 2014. I hope you are too. Let's kick it off with a good one. And again, contact support if you have not yet had time to talk to me about your marketing. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great day.